Morning, Andrew.
Hey, good morning, Vincent.
Okay, let's have our political cappuccino.
All right, that's right. Let's get a little caffeinated here.
All right.
Okay, talking about
the week before.
The week before, yeah. I got two things I want to talk about today.
It's quite slow, actually.
I think there was actually quite a lot going on.
You pick up a few things?
Yeah, I did pick up.
Okay,
let's
do it.
Two big things I want to talk about today. The first one is the dilemma that has been landed on Hong Kong. All right, a lot of people don't really understand what that word means, and they use it improperly.
Oh,
a lot of people use dilemma to mean problem. Oh, I've got a real dilemma, and this is a problem. But that's not quite what the word means. No.
Dilemma, D-I,
yeah,
means two.
Two, exactly.
Two.
Yeah. Yes.
You caught between two choices.
Yes, you're caught between two bad choices.
Bad choices.
Unpleasant, undesirable.
Yeah. And you feel ambivalent.
Yes. Yes. You're like, yeah. But life is like that, which is why we have the term. And quite often we are faced with two bad choices. Hong Kong was existing in a state of not having to make a choice for a long time about Article 23. Right? And so it was like, the choices were Article 23 or just not talk about Article 23 after the big blowout of 2003, right?
Yes.
So everybody was kind of cruising along on not talking about it mode for quite, more than a decade. But now, last week was all about trying to make Hong Kongers choose between having their own locally designed Article 23 legislation, or now we've got Stanley and all these people coming and saying, well, we should just apply Chinese state security laws in Hong Kong. And, a lot of people go into full freak-out mode when they hear that because that, seems to mean black jails and arbitrary, arrest without
national
detention.
security law and its negative consequences.
Exactly. Put something on Facebook, go to jail. Right? It is very different. That's, we don't like this economic policy in Guilin. Oh, my God, you're threatening national security. Everybody, you're in jail. So people have concerns about that. So it seems, but a lot of people are coming around to this idea that all this talk about imposing Chinese state security is actually to force people to say, well, I guess Article 23 locally designed legislation wouldn't be that bad.
You know what?
What's your take?
Is that this dilemma stems from the policy address.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, the policy address put national security and the Hong Kong nationalism, the book.
Yes, yeah.
At the very beginning.
Yeah.
So actually, I think C.Y. Leung is setting the scene.
Yes.
For such a discussion. For such a debate.
Yeah.
But my other take is that it's not really this dilemma.
Right.
But this is the period for the public consultation, engagement of the constitutional reform.
Okay.
So
the real at the same time.
Yeah. So the real dilemma, I think, is if you want a universal suffrage, that is not hindered by the nomination committee.
Right.
So if you want to have free choices, then get the Article 23 local legislation passed.
Right.
So the dilemma is actually, do you want the so-called real universal suffrages without any nomination committee influence, or you pass Article 23.
Okay.
So once you pass Article 23 as a local legislation, the state can now somehow ask the CE to go away if it is a matter of national security. Because in the current system, they cannot ask the chief executive to directly go away. You must go through the Legislative Council.
So only the Legislative
only the Legislative
Council doesn't have the power to remove the chief executive.
Not remove, but they can come up with a motion.
Right. Of impeachment.
To impeachment.
Right.
But the China state, the state of China, Beijing, cannot directly fire the chief executive.
Really?
No, cannot.
Okay.
Literally.
So once he's in, he's in.
Yes. Once he is in, he's in, and he cannot be fired.
By anybody?
Only the Legislative Council can impeach him.
Right. But does that actually mean remove him from office?
Yes.
Okay, because I remember at one point they impeached Bill Clinton, but he was still the president. So
but you have to impeach him but you have to get 2/3 of the votes, like getting the constitutional reform passed.
Gotcha.
So if let's put it a very big if scenario. Let's say Tung Chee-hwa. Back then. He said, "My leg is fine." I don't want to go. Then the state can do nothing.
They can't take him out.
They can either do some really terrible things.
Yeah.
Really, really terrible things.
Yeah, like Black Ops type stuff.
Yeah, Black Ops type stuff, James Bond stuff.
Yeah.
Or the state have to discuss with the Pan-Democrats. Oh, I want to get Tong Chee-hwa out of the way.
We need your votes.
And we need your votes.
For an
I mean, how can they accept that?
But you're saying if we get an Article 23 legislation passed, then the people in Beijing could use that to remove the chief executive on grounds of national security.
In the grounds of only in the grounds of national security, not on his performance.
Interesting.
So if that happens, if someone corrupt once he became the chief executive, the Beijing side can still have some kind of official mechanism to ask him to go away rather than go for Black Ops or go for the Pan-Democrats.
Right. So what they might
I
say
think the real dilemma is there.
We'll give you real. We
may give you.
So right now they have the veto before he gets chosen.
Yes.
But if we had Article 23 legislation and real universal suffrage, then Beijing would have a veto after they're already in the job.
Exactly.
So we'd just move around when they could.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's my take.
So you're saying that could be the deal that could be done.
That could be the deal.
We will give you real universal suffrage if you give us the power to veto this guy.
Yes.
And pull him from the job.
That's my take.
That's a very interesting.
But you got that very inspiration point and help me to think through this.
To come through it. Okay.
That's really big.
Interesting. Okay. First interesting idea of the day. Here's the second one. Okay, the second thing that I noticed, I'm calling this the mini-me.
Mini-me?
Yeah.
Austin Powers?
Austin Powers.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, mini-me, you complete me. Yes. Yeah. That was all part of it. I've got the links for people, and I'll send you the link so you can put it with the show, and I'll put it on the YouTube version as well. So if you don't know Mini-Me, in the Austin Powers movie, the supervillain created a little 1/8 version of himself called Mini-Me, that because his son didn't like him. So then, his number 2 created a mini version. Yes, right down to the $1 million. So in Hong Kong, we've got Anson Chan Mini-Me's coming out, little miniature versions of Anson Chan. Okay, so why do I say that? Last week we had all these new political groups popping up. That happens a lot in Hong Kong, but three in a week, even for Hong Kong, is quite a lot. One of them was Occupy protesters trying to put together a new political organization to contest district DC elections, district council elections. That's not the mini-me I'm talking about. The mini-me's I'm talking about are like Anson Chan in that they are formal civil servants that are holding the government's feet to the fire with new political groups, like Anson Chan has done with 2047. She's kind of the big one because she was the chief secretary and the one that was...
Who else?
So who are the new ones? You guys about... Okay, so we got 2. There's a new interest group, the People's Aviation Watch, which is going to be looking at the Hong Kong government's third runway built to the Hong Kong Airport Authority, and it's going to be run by the former director of the Hong Kong Observatory, Lam Tzu-ying, who is also big on the whole global warming thing. But Lam Tzu-ying, ran the observatory, very well respected organization in Hong Kong.
So he got his paw on the third runway.
Yes, he's keeping an eye on the third runway.
You know why I use paw?
Paw?
People's Aviation Watch.
P-A-W. His pal. Yeah, his pal. So yeah, People's Aviation. Oh, paw. His paw, like a dog paw. Okay, now I got it. Now I'm with you. Okay. So yeah. Oh, we're gonna have some fun with that later. I guarantee it. Yeah. So this is like another.
It's paw, right?
P-A-W. Yeah, P-A-W. Yeah. So yeah. So it's like a little Anson Chan, a former civil servant, very well respected, who's now saying that they're not happy with the government and they're going to hammer down on
All right. Who else?
So the other one was the former Government Records Service Director. Simon Chu.
Simon, of course.
Yeah.
And he's been quite active for past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, now his thing, and now he's come up and said, he's concerned because he's worried the government is out destroying documents related to Occupy Central, right? And there have been people who have been critical of the government and not having a proper archival process for keeping documents that may become later important for historical reasons, for legal reasons, and he's worried that documents, as we speak, are being shredded by the boatload, or whatever the collective noun is for documents about Occupy, right? The OccuDocs or something, I don't know, 8-time copies, and so he's concerned that they're not keeping track of that. So, as there's this old guard of respected former senior civil servants in Hong Kong, and it seems like more and more of them are coming out of the woodworks because they don't like what's happening in government. So these are the Anson Chan mini-me's.
I don't think the two gentlemen would like that.
Well, I don't know. They might be digging through their DVD collection.
Okay, but Simon, what's the name of his organization?
Does he have a name for it? He hasn't got a name for it, but he's just coming out and he's hammering home on the government on this. It remains to be seen if he'll gather up, I don't know, Sid Ho. That's been a big issue for her.
Yes.
Archiving, documentation.
Oh, me too. Me too.
You too?
I've been pushing this in my radio show since 2007.
Maybe you guys get together, right? Civic Exchange, I think
yes.
That was one of their niches that they deal with.
Christine has been pushing this a long time ago.
Yeah. So.
Well, you know what?
What?
The strange thing is, actually, the Chinese archive are extremely well run.
Okay.
And they have a law to govern provincial government, state government, all the records.
So you don't mean Chinese language in Hong Kong, you mean
mainland.
China mainland. Right,
yes.
okay, got you.
They need their records.
Well,
they
yes.
need their records.
Yes. I read Mao's unauthorized autobiography, and it was all about documentation and controlling it.
The mainland actually has been doing a really good job.
That doesn't surprise me. That fits in with the bureaucratic mindset.
And they even have a whole building for records.
Oh, I believe it.
And people can go and check the records per se.
The Ministry of Truth, like from 1984, right? So those were my two big things. You know, where this new dilemma about state security, and you've come up with I think that's a fascinating point you raised. And then the mini-me's, and I wonder how many more mini-me's are waiting in the wings. You know, people of Anson Chan's era who have just had it, and they don't understand what's happening in government. They're all cranky and upset, and they're going to come out fighting.
Well, but they can become the new political force.
I think they can. It's
especially after the post-Occupy.
Yeah.
It really depends on whether the younger generation would accept them.
Yeah.
To become legislators. If they can, then they can become a very big force.
Different game. Yeah.
Regina wants to harness the power of ex-civil servants.
Yeah.
Before the pro-establishment. You're talking about the other side, and
which is uniquely Hong Kong. I can't think of anywhere else in the world where formal civil servants. You might have one or two that run as a member of parliament or something.
Singapore.
But where they come out and become as prominent as they are in Hong Kong in political circles, very rare. It's very Hong Kong.
We'll see.
So those two big things.
Thank you, Andrew.
Cheers, Vincent.
Okay.